Hello, everybody. This is Lorii Abela, and I am here at Rejuvenation. Rejuvenation is all about honoring yourself and spending free time for yourself. We have a guest tonight. So she is from Australia, Truth Seer, energy healer, and intuitive guide. She sees the highest truth in people and situations and uses this superpower gift to unravel the mask and distortions within souls so she can empower women to live in alignment with their soul's highest truth. Her mission is to teach you how to master your inner world so you can ground your gifts into reality and create a bigger impact in the world. She is also an award-winning author of Coastal Inspirations, Drawing Beauty and Meaning from the Sea, a book that guides people on their journey of self-discovery. Marissa has her master's from Psychosomatic Therapy College in Australia and a bachelor's degree in kinesiology from Colorado College. She is also a Reiki master as well as a certified forensic healer. She has developed a new performance training center with the philosophy of integrating mindset, nutrition, movement, and recovery. She has also pioneered corporate health and productivity programs within Fortune 500 companies such as Google, Intel, and LinkedIn. Over the years, Marissa has worked with a clientele that includes Olympic gold medalists, professional athletes, actors, entrepreneurs, adolescents, as well as special populations, including orthopedic ailments, cardiac care, weight management, and pregnancy protocols. So let's welcome Miss Marissa O'Neil. Marisa, I understand that you have been in the practice for a while, so maybe you can share with us what are the impacts of not pursuing one's desires on women.
Sure, sure. And I think I'll speak from experience as well. Everything that I teach, I usually experience firsthand, first, and then learn how to work through it myself, and then share it with friends and family, and then share that with clients as well. Um, and so, I grew up in the US and I was taught to live the American dream essentially. So by the age of 22, 23, I was a medical director in New York City working with actors and actresses and managing their healthcare and it was a pretty prestigious job for someone so young. And I had, a great life. I lived on the Upper West Side in New York City. I was dating a guy who was somewhat famous, and, my life on paper was amazing. But there was something inside that was just sort of eating away at me where I was like, there has to be more to life than this. There has to be more to life than money, fame, fortune, success, and the American dream. Um, and so I tried a few things sort of outside of my comfort zone. I was applying to medical school to go back to school. I was, trying new things, taking new courses, learning new things in the city, but it wasn't enough. And so I didn't choose consciously to make a drastic change. And my body then chose it for me. And so I call them spiritual two by fours, like a two by four piece of wood literally smacking you on the side of the head. And so what ended up happening to me is I went to work sick because my life revolved around work and serving, and that was all I knew. I was really sick. I went to work and I passed out. I fell and I hit my head and I broke all the bones around this eye orbit, and they were fractured and displaced. And so if I didn't have immediate surgery, I would have lost my eyesight. And so, what ended up happening, to come back to your question, is that I wasn't following my soul's desires. I was doing what I was taught, what I was conditioned to do. And my body broke down and it was like, no, you need to rest, you need to go inward, you need to rethink your entire life because you're on the wrong path. And so I believe if we don't consciously make the choice when it's easy, that our body will then break down in some way, whether that's an accident, whether that's disease or illness, something to really put us like in bed horizontally to really look and reflect and see our life with a new perspective of like if you were to to die today, if you were to lose your eyesight today, or if you weren't able to walk today, you know, are you happy? Are you fulfilled? Do you love your life? And the answer for my questions at that point was no. Like I want to see the world. I want to travel. I have so much more to give to the world than living in this little bubble of the rich and the famous. And so I ended up leaving the country for 6 months, traveling the world, coming back and starting over in California. So yeah, so does that answer your question? I believe
Yeah.
that, we have choice, but I feel like the universe will then force our hand if we're not listening and if we're not being true to ourselves and true to our own journey and our own path.
Wow. All right. No, that's the scary part. You were saying that you can have illness or something. Yeah, who wants that? Yeah, and then um, I know that there's always a challenge for people to choose to pursue their passion if society dictates that it looks like it's not going to be financially solvent. What do you recommend for situations like this?
Yeah, another great question. And again, one that I've lived through as well is after living in New York City, I moved to California and I took a job working with professional athletes and then built a consumer brand of that same business model. And then took that business model and took that into Fortune 500 companies. And I built about 20 wellness centers around the world within those companies, within like Google, Intel, and LinkedIn. And I was miserable. When I moved from the consumer to the corporate, I was miserable. And um, I'm just trying to think of how to explain it is, I was going the route to set myself up for success financially, prestige wise, you know, gaining a career sort of in the business side of things. Really gaining that expertise was really rare. I joined a startup and it grew and it became sort of this big corporate company. And again, everyone thought I had the best life on paper. Everything's amazing. I'm living on the beach in Santa Monica. I'm dating an amazing guy. I'm traveling the world for free on points and working, and everything's amazing. And yet, still, there was something inside that was like, no, you're meant for something greater, right? Um, and so I ended up, I knew that I had to do something different, but I didn't know what. Like, I wanted to quit my job, but I didn't quite know how. And I was getting all this pressure from my parents and my friends. And it's like, why would you quit? You've got, you create your schedule, you've got amazing money, you can travel. Like, what would you do? Right. And I didn't really have an answer for them at that point. And then all of a sudden it got so bad that I was like, I just need out. Like, I need out. I need to clear my head. And I can't keep going the way that I'm going because I'm just miserable and I feel like my soul is dying inside. And so I did one thing to get outside of my comfort zone. And what I did was I chose to go to an angel investing conference because I had a vision for creating a wellness center that really was about the people, sort of bridged Eastern and Western medicine. It was one stop shopping. And it really looked at the whole person rather than just sort of looking at like individual pieces of a person. And so when you talk to angel investors, you need to sort of bare your soul to them. They need to get to know you as a person because angel investors invest in people. They don't invest in ideas. Because if you have a good idea and it doesn't work, they know that your next idea might, right? So I called up my dad. My dad does photography as a hobby. And I called my dad up and said, hey, can you please send this picture of yours to my designer? And I sent my info to my designer and I sent her a quote. And at the time, the quote was, "A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step." Because I knew that all I needed to do was take one step outside of my comfort zone. And I knew that everything else would then just sort of move and flow for me from there. So my designer sent me edits late at night, and I was looking at them, and I was listening to an abundance and prosperity webinar. And at that point in my consciousness, like I wasn't really into that kind of stuff. Um, but I just remember like looking at the card, the business card that my designer sent back to me, and I saw my dad's photograph with the quote faded on it in the background, like I had asked. And I saw a whole line of inspiration, like a product of canvas art. And so it was like this crazy idea, but I called my dad the next day and I was like, Dad, what do you think? Like, I have this crazy idea. I'd love to take your photographs, pair them with quotes, create a whole like line of inspiration, create a book, create a calendar. Like, I saw a whole product line. And my dad said yes. And so, when my dad said yes, it was like I had that one thing that could then take me away from this cushy job. Now, financially, I didn't have any answers, right? Like, it wasn't like I had a path to like, oh, here's how I'm going to make money. Writing a book doesn't make you any money. I've learned that the hard way. But it was like all of a sudden, all my energy and passion went into the book and like creating with my dad. And 2 months into the book, I walked away from my job. Again, not knowing where the money was coming from, not knowing, what my life was going to look like. But I was so miserable at the job, and I loved working on the book with my dad. Like I would stay in on Friday and Saturday. I was in my 20s. I would stay in on Friday and Saturday nights. And I would say no to friends and no to parties to work on the book. So I knew that this was special. And it took me away from what I didn't like, and it took me towards something that was more in line with why I'm here and what my message is to share with the world. So, my answer to people is like, we're so conditioned by society to have the perfect job, to, make as much money as we can, to have like the American dream. Yet, like, if we don't listen to our soul's desires, if we don't listen to this yearning inside of like, but I'm made for so much more, but I'm not happy, I'm not like, I don't come alive when I go to work, then you're dying inside, right? And you get to honor your truth, you get to honor your soul's journey and say, no, I get to put myself first. I don't need to live the American dream because that's not my dream, right? Like, what's Lori's dream? What's Marissa's dream? That's the question that we really get to ask people. And then we get to encourage and support each other to go after whatever dream it is, right?
Yeah, I like it because like you have the support of your family. Like, yeah, they're your um cheerleaders. Because like,
Yeah, so I
sometimes,
mean,
yeah.
yeah, they got there. They got there, but they weren't supportive of me quitting my job, right? In the
Yeah.
beginning, it's like I had to go against my family's wishes because walking away from a job where you're making six figures and you're traveling, you have no worries, right? Financially, um, that's a big jump. And I tend to do things all or nothing, so I don't necessarily recommend people do things without a plan per se. Um, but is you need to be true to yourself. You can't sell your soul to the devil. And I feel like the devil is anyone other than you, right? Is you can't give your soul to someone where you're not passionate in that area. Because I
So
believe that we're all put on this earth to express our unique gifts and talents, right? I believe each one of us is a piece of the larger puzzle where we need to express our gifts in order for us to come together to lift the consciousness of the planet, right?
from your experience, what other kinds of desires do you think like women tend to leave unfulfilled?
Um, I feel like women always put other people first. I feel like women, especially if you have a family, you're always putting the needs of like your husband first or your children first. I was just chatting with a friend yesterday. Um, I believe that everyone across the board, but women specifically, because women tend to overgive, is that we all need to fill ourselves up first. We all need to nourish ourselves. We all need to give to ourselves before we give to anyone else. When you fly in an airplane and they say, put your own oxygen mask on first and then put your child's on. I believe we need to go through life that way. We need to fill ourselves up, make sure that we are happy inside, we're nourished, we're fulfilled, we've got all this love bubbling up inside us, and then we get to go share that overflow with the world, with our family, with our friends, right?
Yeah, I take a lot of planes, so I know that. They always say that on the plane, like,
Yeah,
okay. But
yeah.
I was thinking like, okay, thank God I don't have a baby. So,
Because I think a lot of women give up their dreams for their family, right? It's like, if you have a child, it's like, okay, the husband, makes more money, so the husband's gonna work. I'm gonna be a stay-at-home mom, and all of a sudden, it's like the mom gives up her desire for like, for sharing her gifts with the world. So I believe that women need to be a bit more, you can say the word selfish, but it doesn't feel that way to me. It feels like the happier your mom is, the happier women are on this planet, the more we can care and nurture and love other people, right?
that's very powerful. So,
Yeah.
do you have some tips that you can share regarding satisfying soul's desires?
Yeah, don't wait. Like ask yourself today, what is your soul desire? And go do that. Right? You can start your day with it, you can end your day with it, you can do it in the middle, but every single day you should be doing, at least one thing that your soul desires, that you love doing, that brings a smile to your face, if not all day, every day. Right? Do not wait until you retire. Do not wait until you get a better job. Do not wait until you meet that one person that you're meant to meet. Life is now, so fulfill your soul's desires now. Right? Live in the present moment.
That's a tall
And then you
order.
string the present moments together. When you give yourself what your soul desires now, and when you give your soul's desire like the next minute and the next minute and the next minute, you're stringing along moments in time where you feel alive inside, where you feel fulfilled, where you feel like anything is possible. And the more that you stay in that state, the more magic and miracles that can flow to your life.
Sounds exciting. So, so
Life
for
life is
you,
exciting. Life is
yeah, so for
fun.
you, for you, how do you spend your personal time or your time?
Yeah, I mean, I love my life. I love my life because I create my own day. I create my own time. So, some days I work a lot and I, serve clients and, I was up late last night working on this free gift that I'll share with you in a little bit. Um, other times I love to play beach volleyball. I love anything outdoors at the beach, sailing, swimming with whales and dolphins. You can also find me at like goddess events or women's circles, out, in nature at vortexes and, meditating or the spa. Lots of things to make sure that I'm completely full, um, and recharged so that I can then serve. So for me, it's my life is like a balance of serving and sharing and giving, and then nurturing and filling my soul up, and then giving and then nurturing and then giving and nurturing. Does that make sense? It's almost like a
Yeah,
infinity symbol, back and forth. So the more I serve, the more I sort of nourish my own soul. The more I serve, the more I nourish my own soul. For
yeah, that's amazing that you're in Australia. You can do a lot of those stuff that you like outdoors.
Yeah, yeah. I moved to Australia. I lived in California for a while. I moved to Australia last year. It's been magical. It's been amazing. So
So, what are your current projects and how can people find you?
yeah. So actually, my birthday is coming up next week. And so what I'm doing for my birthday is offering a free 7-day soul medicine challenge for everyone. So your audience is welcome to join us. It's going to be amazing. I've literally taken the most powerful exercises, activities, and practices that I do with my clients, my VIP clients, and I've put them into each day of the 7 days and strung them all together. So I'm happy to send you a link. If you go to marissa'oneil.com, you can sign up for the free challenge. It launches on June 11th. and you'll get some emails in between in preparation for setting yourself up for success.
Right. So, do you have any parting words for the women out there who are listening, as far as fulfilling or satisfying their soul's desire?
Yeah, satisfy it now. Like do something today that just lights you up, that brings a smile to your face. And the more you do that, the more that you'll live in flow, the more that you will see that the universe will create magic and miracles for you.
All right. I'm excited about the magic. Bring it on.
Yes, definitely. Definitely.
All right. So there you have it, folks. Miss Marissa O'Neil, thank you so much for having this opportunity to share your expertise with us at this early time, at your time. All
My
right. Bye
pleasure.
bye. See you next week.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Lorii.
All right. You take care.
Bye.
Bye.